It's the 1, 2, 3, the 3, 2, 1. Throw your blunts in the air for the God Iron Lungs. We're back, infidels here. YouTube restricted zone, restricted thought. If you're listening to us on an Apple, who knows? You can't even think differently these days. But we're back, and it's a big night tonight with the Miletich protest system. The conspiracy horsemen are in the house, infidels. YOLO! Oh, man, from the northern lights above, he shines down upon us. It's Big Sal Allah, and Stevie's back in the house along with the Don himself, the Greek god, conspiracy horseman. You guys excited about our guest tonight? Hope everything goes well. I'll send him the link in about 15 minutes here. But yeah, we're just living in the cut right now. You guys know how it is. And with us being banned on Twitch early out, we're always ahead of the curve. More restrictions on YouTube. And then I think I lost about 300 followers on Twitter. I'm sure anybody Q-based. So we've seen a definite decrease restriction. A big announcement from Tim Cook this morning that everybody was like, oh, is there going to be something about the censorship? No, just more SJW platform bullshit. So here we are, you guys, living in the now with no parlor, Amazon, the overlord striking down, and we're going to go all the way around it. How's it going, Big Stevie Cool?
Well, you left out the other part that came back this week with me. The FDR blanket is back.
It's back.
The FDR blanket. We could use some FDR American badass in these times. Imagine him as president right now. That would
fuckery.
It would be great. But it's great to be back. Sorry I missed the past few episodes. I was out in Utah, and as a social media, even though everybody's always tempted to let everybody know where they're at and what they're doing every minute, I seem to be over the past few years following Sal's lead to actually living an offline life. And I really don't want to post where I'm at, especially when I'm away from my wife, my family, and I just want to make sure they're protected and their privacy is too.
Yeah, man, kayfabe, all that always, especially in these times when you never know if somebody's going to have you live on air when you don't know what's going on, or they're going to give your phone number away to somebody, Sal. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I was going to say quickly that my wife is a much better shot than me, so you better hope I'm home and not her.
Sally, can you want to give away your social security number real quick?
Well, we're on there, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we're on air before I start talking. Oh boy. Yeah, it's been an interesting week, and it's going to get better. And I can't believe we have the CEO of Twitch coming on. That is fucking amazing. That is a coup. That's a coup you got going on there.
Yeah, I don't think we got him going down, but I'm trying to get the link here to the man himself right now. So if you guys want to take it around the horn, GGP, what are you pissed off about early out of the gate?
Everything. I am just so grizzled, and I don't know, man. I've turned into my father. I've realized it now. Everything just annoys me. Everybody just annoys me. I mean, it's bad enough you have men out there driving Honda Fits. They end up setting up their boys. Then they complain about not winning producer of the year, and then they set up their boys, not telling them they're on the air. That's why you don't win producer of the year, Chuckles. You take a back seat to Matt Schaffer every day. Anyhow, nothing, man. Same old. We had the NFL last night. We had a guest on last night, Star Wars Only, who's a big YouTuber in the Star Wars community. So it was good times. We talked about everything about Star Wars. So
was it Patrick Stewart?
No, Star Wars. Interesting. I said.
Oh.
That was crazy, that clip you sent me of the, a brand new life around.
Oh, that was great, dude.
But, dude, that guy is from my tiny-ass hometown in outside of Riyadh. And, I was shocked. He's had quite a career as a touring musician through college and whatnot. And I know he has all the production chops. And he's right in the same, obviously, age bracket and what we're into. But that was great work. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if he can come on for you, man.
Oh, by the way, I just got this in the mail too. GGP Immortal Championship Wrestling trading card.
Nice. They look good.
Look at that.
Is it the conspiracy horseman or no?
No, just me.
Leave the E offer savings. That's what it is. Hey, I wanted to say we can change our minds here, right? We can come back around and say that we were wrong about something, right?
Of course.
Are we ever wrong? But
Well, my wife and I had
My
the Honda Fit reference where I stood by the Honda Fit for so long. We had gotten a Honda CRV recently over the past couple months. And now when I step into my Honda Accord, I'm like, oh my God, my back is fucking killing me. I can't sit in this thing anymore. So I'm a truck guy now. So I'm done. It's over.
Yeah, man. You don't have to go too big on the trucks. I like my GMC Canyon. We shipped so many of those small Toyotas over to Iraq. I was able to get one for every day of the week. So on discount, they were just sitting there. Nobody was using them. But man, the big band, Parler, Parlay, Amazon cracking down. And Stevie, you're the one who scooped us to the Tim Woods big announcement was going down. Who is he going to address deplatforming Parler off the Apple Store? And it turns out to be a slush fund for more SJW promotion of the minority has to have this money. And meanwhile, in the same time, we're seeing sports teams bailed out with PPP loans that don't need to be paid back. Did you guys all get your $600? Because I haven't seen a dime yet.
I have to check. I don't think I got it.
I haven't.
I'll check right now.
What did you?
Papa Don's going to have like $10 million in his.
Yeah, I'm trying to confirm this, but there was a couple people within a comment section and then a thread of another, but I haven't seen an official article.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who got a PPP loan for $1.1 million?
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady.
Oh.
Tom Brady. I'm serious.
I bet Cindy Brady got some shit too. I haven't seen a fucking dime, bro.
Well, the Tim Cook thing's interesting, and Apple's interesting in itself because obviously I think that $100 million, the timing of that was very suspect because he would have to answer questions about Parler and about censorship and big tech and where Apple lies with Twitter, Facebook, and all these other, and Amazon. This thing was timed perfectly. I think they knew they were going to do this on this particular day. They all did it on the same day. And now Tim Cook says $100 million for that. How can you go after this guy when he does that? And also, I don't know how much of that $100 million is going to go towards suicide nets in China. I just want to.
Here's another question. So,
what's the underground mom network?
Well, that's the other thing. Also, I think I got it from you guys as well. There was Murphy, that fucking cunt Murphy, has a soccer team. He owns a soccer team who got $147,000 in relief funds.
197.
Was it 97? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Steelers got $4 million, bro. Pittsburgh Steelers got $4 million.
Well,
no,
but that's okay. So here's the thing. That's
$4 million.
If they're gonna. What's going on right now? I'm double checking. I keep watching the score. The score keeps popping up every time I'm looking. Anyway, so Governor Murphy, the guy who has the soccer team, who's got all this fund, this relief money. Meanwhile, intramural closed down, Special Olympics closed down, school programs closed down. This cunt is all this stuff is closed down because he's like everybody's safety. Meanwhile, his fucking soccer team is getting handouts. So fuck him, and fuck his soccer team. And I'll tell you,
let's stop there. Like, yeah, sure, we're hot about it, but how? Where is the connection of the payola that makes him the guy who can, be connected to some state attorney's office where they just push it through and they make sure this guy doesn't end up in the red?
Because now this is what I mean. Like the fact that he is. So he's constantly talking now about safety. We need safety, and everybody's pushing everybody's safety. We got to get safety, and the reason we're having shutdowns and the reason all these things are closed is for everyone's safety. Okay, sure, I guess so. I guess it's for everyone's safety. You're so gung ho about this, but you're giving up literally nothing. Like even your fucking soccer team that you own, you're still getting a kickback for that.
I mean,
but that's what I mean. They're talking about they want everybody to band together. Everybody has to be together on this. Just like we said, how fucking Madonna's sitting in her fucking tub in fucking her pool boy sweat, sitting in the tub, fucking telling people, "Oh, we have to just all stay inside." All right, great. What are you losing? What are you giving up? You're sitting in your $1 billion ranch behind your security gates, and what are you giving up? So
I'm about to give up.
same rules apply.
Shut up.
You hear my voice?
Yeah, they heard your voice and now it's on right now. The deplatforming, the unpersoning of an app that's an alternative version to be able to speak to the world. Not what a vindictive act right out of the gate. Yeah, you got a big mouth. Come here, big mouth.
Well, the amazing part about that is, once again, the guys, you guys make fun of me. Hey, buddy, you guys make fun of me for it not being a poem when it is indeed a poem. But these people, I think society in general, especially American society, is so arrogant to think that when they cheer that it goes after a parlor or any conservative or anybody that even thinks a little bit differently than them, that eventually when they're all gone, they're not going to turn around and start putting the screws to you.
Well, they're gonna they consume
that they laugh at on both sides.
You saw the PBS piece, right? I mean, the guy's right out there just saying it. He's so in a bubble of DC where they think they're in a think tank and they're better humans, dude. They're just walking bags of shit. You know what I mean? Poke a couple holes in them and see how well it goes.
I wanted to say this real quickly while I'm thinking about it. Twitter has blocked people from deleting their accounts, by the way.
Well, their stock price has gone down $4 in the last 3 days from 47. It was actually up to 53, then went to 47. Will we see it get down to 43?
They literally are holding people hostage on the platform to keep the stock up. It's got to be illegal to some degree.
All you got to do is delete it off your phone. You know what I mean? Even if it's there, the inactivity will crash it, and that's them making their own bed. That's I've had this conversation in a smaller circle of the Chicago comedy where they attacked their own houses, Improv Olympic and Second City, and now they're both shut down. And there's no place for the community to be seen, to get to Saturday Night Live, to play and sharpen their swords. And they all just did it like
to themselves.
Danced around it, the burning fire, and going crazy. Like, yeah, we did it. We burned our own house down with our own, weird moral code. We knew where it was going, but we stuck to it instead of saying we were wrong. I got another one too that gets me.
How dare you with your fictitious news?
Yeah.
Twitter condemns internet shutdowns. They strongly condemn internet shutdowns. They are hugely harmful. They violate basic human rights and the principles. # open internet. Basically, they're upset that Kamala can't get laid down in Uganda now
because of the votes
on Tinder because of all this internet craziness that's going on over there. And Twitter had to chime in and say their policies is against shutting down.
They condemn
it. They condemn it. But hey, God forbid you're against the left. God forbid you're against the left. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to do it to themselves. They're going to do it to themselves over and over and over again. And the hypocrisy will continue to grow. Hey, Sal.
Yes, sir.
How about lights out at the Vatican and in Pakistan?
Yeah, well, they just want to play a little hide and seek game. You can't play that with the lights on.
No, you can't.
You cannot play a good game.
A good game
hide and seek.
Of tickle hide and seek.
Well, yeah.
They got all the transgenders from Pakistan that got a $10 million payoff out of.
They're Pakistaning them in.
Yeah,
can
relief bill, and then they brought him to the Vatican and played Tickle Night with the lights off. What about Italy too, with the big roundup that we've seen as it ties?
Boopity boppity. They don't know what they're doing with it. The place stinks. It's a fucking shithole.
No words from the full-blooded Italians over there.
I don't want. I'm over here. Do you get that? You
look like you're outside the Lucifer telescope right now.
Listen, don't.
You're partying by the Gothic tunnel.
Don't overlay your hang-ups on me, kid.
What do we think? You can't take down all of Pakistan like that.
Why?
Unless it's a military operation, a military cut. What is going on? I thought it might be India doing it. They've been knuckling up for a long time, but then as it lines up in Italy and the Vatican, something else is going on here.
Well, that was my thing. Italy and the Vatican. Don't you think Italy and the Vatican are above? Well, not just Italy, but don't you think the Vatican's above military?
I know a lot of power struggle, and they're using it as a CIA black site. and they took down 300 mafia members this week too. So there's a lot going on.
No such thing as the mafia.
I don't know what you're talking about. What is that?
Never.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Come on, if you're gonna use words, don't make it up.
Yeah, Hendry. What the hell's the matter with you, Hendry? Fucking full of the questioning over here.
Yeah, man. What do you think? What do you think, Stevie? What do you any of that leads you down any rabbit holes or what that move means?
Well, USA Today said it was false. It didn't happen, and the Pope was not arrested, which I don't think anybody was even bringing
Who
up.
said that?
Like that's me saying, like, hey, by the way, guys, right before I came on, I didn't murder a bunch of people. Put it out there.
Just saying.
Yeah, the blackout never happened. The Pope wasn't arrested. Nobody was arrested. The Catholic traveler, yeah.
They weren't murders. They were non-COVID related deaths.
There's no such thing as that.
They had a non-COVID
stop with your
weird
your
issue
weirdness, Ben.
that happened.
A non-COVID related death.
You're speaking nonsense again. I don't get it.
What do we think, though? Why would they take down Pakistan and Italy to do that? And, here we are in the game in the last week of the 4D chess. Is anybody going to put them in checkmate?
No, absolutely not. There is no long game. Look, this whole QAnon nonsense that they've been spewing for the last 4 years, all these arrest warrants that supposedly in sealed indictments that all these people are going to get and all these actors are going to get arrested and all these bad people are going to go to jail. It's not going to happen, dude. The rumor is this. The president of Italy got arrested because of all the tampering with the election here in the States. Some general came out and broke kayfabe and hit the Stews report. And
Uncle
then
Claudio.
they're saying that Trump's gonna put in the Insurrection Act of 1807 or something like that to try to get the election turned to his favor. And then there's another rumor.
Didn't somebody fake Twitter that?
Could have been. I don't know.
They made it look like Trump wrote it.
And then they're saying that Pelosi's laptop was stolen during the raid. That's why she's pushing hard on this.
Didn't they also shit on her desk?
Yeah, but
Speaking of Kamala, Ugandan elections are crazy right now too, with a big Twitter blackout. So they're not allowing the people to talk in the elections. I mean, complete state control of free platforms. Well, these you people that with the argument, you sign up for all this, Well, they're traded on the New York Stock Exchange, so they're not private. And if they're a private industry that can operate whatever way they want, then why can't the small businesses open back up and operate any way that they want to? These double standards and rules
Let me ask a simple question then. Okay, all this time, people have had the ability to shut down Twitter accounts, fucking entire platforms of social media, entire ways of people communicating. They could shut this shit down immediately. Why haven't they taken down those porn sites, child porn sites? Why haven't they hit any of these black sites that everybody's like, oh, the shit on here? Oh,
nobody touches World Star, bro.
But this is what I'm saying. Why isn't they have the ability to do it? Why aren't you using that? How come fucking Zuckerberg's not going after the dudes from Saudi Arabia or the dudes from China or anybody else or an Amazon? Amazon's on there. They got fucking books written about pedophiles and everything. So
they're going after him, but they're going after Bezos and them are going after Jack Ma, trying to take over his piece of the pie. And we saw the other multi-billionaire come up missing who was working with Hunter Biden Jr., who owns part of that same company. So like I'm saying, we don't like long game. We don't like 4D chess, but look at these military ops style moves that we're seeing bubble up to the surface where people are like, hey, what is what here? And then even inside job of what our guest will talk about here, hopefully soon, of, just walking up into the Capitol. And now these big threats of uprising in the last 7 days, the 17th through the 20th, people trying to knuckle it up and say what's going on. One of the Proud Boys leaders arrested today, Stevie. I think you shared that. And, they're trying to pin it and make their Chicago 7 all over again.
The thing with it too, we talk about double speak, double think, and now double tweet. We're talking about Amazon pulling a bunch of other stuff from conservatives, but leaving the pedophile book up there. Amazon taking away web server space from Parlor, but probably how many porn sites use AWS to, probably Pornhub and all these other places use AWS. No problem.
Yeah.
Even people that just probably use Amazon just to, Wayfair is another one. That thing got swept under the carpet. I'm sure there's some Amazon fulfillment delivery or warehouse that's connected to that. I'm just saying, like,
Big Vito's wish list safe. I mean, is that still good?
I did. I mean, thank God for
I'm sure Justin
$200
keeps it under his fucking pillow. So
But what I'm saying is, like, my wife and I were talking about it because she was like, how can they allow one thing to happen and not the other? And I go, I'm trying to break it down to whether that's exactly the kind of talk that we're sitting here going, what the fuck are they doing? But we can't really act on it. It almost freezes people to be so crazy and so out there that you're like, this is crazy. I don't even know where to start.
Well, Trump just got impeached a second time. 10 Republicans joined the Democrats, and now they're trying to impeach Trump for a second time. He's actually impeached. I just read it on Yahoo. With how many days? 8 days left in office?
Right.
7 days left in office. So it's like, this is ridiculous. Now, why is Pelosi pressing so hard? Why is she pressing so hard? Is it so he doesn't run in 2024 at 78 years old? You really think he wants to run to be president in 2024?
Right? They can censure him or do something to the impeachment's the first step.
Well,
censure will make sure he never runs again.
That's what I'm saying.
They try and put it over that he doesn't get the $250,000 for protection. He doesn't get.
I was going to say, then they can take away all that shit.
They just
but
the library, none of that.
I think the rumor has it. Now I don't know how true it is. There were black ops with the group of people that came into the White House, and they stole her laptop.
I'm sure there were other color cops there.
You know what I'm saying? So no, black ops.
Oh, black. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, I mean, who knows? Is it more QAnon nonsense? Is it too far-fetched to think that something got stolen that may have some incriminating evidence?
Why would she leave her laptop? Isn't that against the law for her to leave that equipment around?
In our office?
Hiding for hours, but he might have seen it. Maybe he's got it himself. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me, sir?
Yes. How are you guys?
How you doing?
For those who don't know, now you know, the UFC champion, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest mixed martial arts coaches in the world, and founder of the Miletich protest system is in the house. It's Pat Miletich. Thanks for joining us, sir.
No, thanks for having me, man. It's been a crazy 2019 and 2020 already, huh? Or 2020 and 2021. The past few days for me have been especially interesting, of course. So, I thoroughly enjoyed, though, being in Washington, D.C. on the 6th. Were you guys out there at all?
We weren't. We've been sequestered where we are, so we appreciate you being out there on the front lines as we, tried to call this blind and do a little Nostradamus since back in June. We've kind of played this whole game out.
Man! So are you guys in California?
And we're all over Atlanta, New York, and Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, in Iowa, we're about South Dakota, Iowa, a few other states. Florida might be a little bit freer than us, but I wore a mask one time when I moved my daughter into her dorm when she went to college, and that was it, because I had to. Obviously, I do that for her, but you know, so we haven't had to wear masks and things like that.
Colleges are pretty insane places right now. Yeah, I'm an ex-college professor myself, and I just know how they'll twist for that socialist money, and it comes down the pipe. I saw them change their tune for online learning, and then they went to STEM technology for another $80 million, and they took out of that slush fund, and then they turned around to nanotechnology, and over the course of it, they fleeced about $300 million with no payoff to the local communities. So there is
sad. It's sad, very sad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but meanwhile, our kids are being damaged, right?
Right. Well, they're being conditioned to a new way of thought, reprogrammed. But you were there at the Capitol, we'd love to hear about your experience and what you saw there, as opposed to what's portrayed,
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys giving me the chance to talk about it. We got out there on the 5th. We had a townhouse there about 2 miles from Capitol Hill.
Mm-hmm.
We got up on the 6th, not super early, but we got up and walked into over to the Washington Monument where the crowd was gathered, and it was already a massive crowd. I mean, it was a sea of people. What were they estimating the crowd at? I'm thinking you had 10 Michigan football stadiums there. I mean, there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people. It was close to 1 million people, I think, or over. So, and it was cold. It was cold. It was windy. So a lot of hardy people showed up. But, I saw no violence out of anybody. Everybody was enthusiastic, upbeat. It was more of a feeling that everybody wanted to be there. Nobody knew what was going to happen, guys. But we wanted to be there for whatever it was because we knew it was historic, right? Mm-hmm. I just wanted to be part of history, and I wanted to see it for myself. And I wanted to say that, hey, I took the time to drive out there. I mean, geez, people have died for our children's freedom. I think it's okay for me to drive out there and just be part of the whole thing, right? And so anyway, while we're out there, when Trump is talking, he says, go to the Capitol. And we're toward the back of the crowd. We can't really get anywhere close. And so we decide that we're just going to take off and we're going to start heading toward the Capitol because we want to be kind of front and center for that. Because that's where the battle's going on as far as the debate, the contested states and everything else. So we headed over there. And along the walk, I'm taking pictures with all kinds of people. It's amazing. You got the big Blacks for Trump folks with all their shirts on. You got huge numbers of Chinese people who had escaped communist China. I'm walking with, in my group, Latino dude, and there's black guys, and it's pretty diverse. Although it's obviously predominantly white, it's still diverse, and everybody just feeling the love, just hoping for freedom, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm taking pictures with different groups who recognize me along the way. And then I walk over to a group that's right by the Capitol. We're heading right toward the Capitol. And I walk over and I introduce myself to these guys. We're talking. They're like, hey, you're Pat Miletich, so that's why I walk over. Talking to them. A couple people recognize me. They pull down their masks. I recognize them. One of them had been on my podcast. And they say, hey, let's get a picture. I'm like, all right, yeah, I've been taking pictures all day, whatever. So we take a picture. And so I take a collection of pictures out of that. I'll describe what happened when everything broke loose on the Capitol, but I wanted to address, it's really important that I'm getting hammered for supposedly some sort of white supremacy thing or whatever. I live in Bettendorf, Iowa, right? I mean, the Quad Cities here. Iowa, we don't have, I've never learned of it, but we don't have white supremacy groups in Iowa. That shit just doesn't exist here. And if it does, nobody ever talks to me about it because they know how I am, right? So one of the guys in the picture off to my left is throwing up a OK sign with his hand, what I've always known as an OK sign, right? And then they say, when I get called about it, it's on his hat, there's some letters, Pat, that represents a white supremacy group and all this other stuff. And I'm like, am I fucking paying attention to every person's hat and everything that I'm taking pictures? They could be a serial killer for all I know when I'm taking a picture with them. I don't know. I can't discern between who's what, right? It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. So anyway, that got blown up, and the poor LFA got attacked for it, and all this other stuff. And look, I want to make clear out of all of this that what these people have done is made me realize that the people that run the LFA are the greatest fucking friends I could have ever had. And while they, need to distance themselves from me, Ed Suarez and I had a conversation today. Dude, I absolutely love that man. He's one of the best human beings I've ever known in my life. And both of us are being attacked, right? And that's a great man. And Sven Bean and Mark Bieri and the rest of them that run the LFA and do those shows and the UFC Fight Pass people. Those are top-notch people, man. Those are top-notch people that care about what they do and they care about other people. They've stuck by me through my ups and downs in life. I tell you what, man, I can't say enough good things about them. Okay. So the people that have done this and attacked me and attacked them have done nothing more than draw us closer together. They'll never have space in my head. They'll never control me. I'm going to be successful no matter what.
Sure.
And so I want people to understand that you cannot bow to these people. You cannot bow to their attacks. You have to let them know that you're willing and more committed to go the entire distance if you have to, that they will not win. So that's the thing. And so I just want to make that clear. But we were off left center of the Capitol. We're at the barricades. We're just talking to people. Everybody's just talking. Mm-hmm. And the crowd's gathering, and all of a sudden, as the crowd really got big there at the barricades, nobody was crashing the barricades. Nobody's busting through the barricades. We're just there to make our presence known, that the politicians were saying, hey, do the right thing, right? And then the cops open the floodgates, technically. They pull them open and wave people in. And the crowd starts pouring up the hill. And I'm sitting there filming it with my phone.
Stop you right there. Do you think that word spread that, hey, Pat Miletich is over there, just let him in, because we do not want to get fucked up by Pat Miletich right now?
No,
because you're such a badass that the cops didn't even want to mess with you. They just said, let them have it, bro.
I do want to follow that up, Pat, with a quick question. At that particular point, when you see the cops waving the people in, what are your thoughts at that moment? Like, what was going on in your head? I don't know what's going on, but it quickly developed into where I realized what was going on, and that's the thing. And later on, I saw footage of the other side of the Capitol where they did the exact same thing. The cops opened the friggin' barricades, pulled them apart.
It came in order, right? Somebody on
hang on. I'm sorry to interrupt again. I don't want to, Pat, if I can ask you, I don't know if you were paying attention to the time. How long approximately did it take you? Because now you said you left before his speech was done because you couldn't get close.
Right. We left before his speech was done, and we were there. God, we were one of the first ones to the Capitol. There was a couple hundred people at the Capitol, literally.
And you walked on over, right?
Yeah, we walked straight from Washington Monument to Capitol Hill.
Approximately, just round ballpark, how long did it take you to walk there? And with you stopping along the way?
If somebody could pull up a map, I can tell you, because I know what I walked pace-wise per mile. Because
well, the reason I'm asking, and I didn't want to lead you or say, oh well, they set it up with him. I had read an article where the timeline doesn't make sense of him inciting riot. And I know, whether you're for Trump, against Trump, I don't give a shit. These people are they're trying to blame him for inciting this riot.
Okay, so what I'm going to explain is I'm going to tell you that telling us to go to the Capitol is not in any way, shape, or form inciting a riot. I can tell you the events that took place at the Capitol. I can see how it all went wrong. And everybody knew that there was going to be Antifa dressed in Trump in the whole crowd. We saw two guys with baseball bats hanging out of their backpacks. They were dressed in all black. They were not Trump people.
We saw a video of them busting them in, right? The guy at the rally had a video of it.
Well, and there's been several occasions of that, so it could be footage of anything. But so the point is, the cops open the barricades and everybody starts pouring up the hill. It's like the Red Sea just parted, right? Mm-hmm. And Moses is leading his people friggin' through the Red Sea. I'm not kidding you. That's how it looked. And all the cops are running up the hill. And look, I've been training cops for 25, 26 years. I'm kind of a supporter of police, you know what I'm saying? And law enforcement, military. I just think that something was planned here. So as the crowd moved up, the cops ran up, and then the riot, like a bunch of guys in riot gear, moved in from the left in front of the stairs of the Capitol and made kind of a crescent moon half circle. Mm-hmm. And as the crowd got to them, they started getting hit with rubber bullets, grenades, giant. You can see the green tear gas clouds in the crowd. You can hear the crowd starting to roar. It's like a football game now, right? So this crowd that got invited in was totally calm, and then started getting hammered with rubber bullets and grenades, knocking the hell out of them, and getting the OC sprayed and tear gassed. And now you got a pissed off crowd. It's like they did it on purpose. So that's the thing that to me, it was planned. It had to be planned to do that just to get footage. And then on top of that, they're saying that the building was already breached. I've got witnesses that said that glass was broken outward from the Capitol, and people were going through windows after that. So I can't be sure of that because we never went up there. We stayed throughout all the violent portion of it, or what would be considered violent, of the crowd getting hit with all the grenades and everything else. Yeah. And afterwards, seeing the footage and what I could tell, it just looked like, I think the crowd got mad and said, now we're going to walk. Now we're going to keep walking forward. Right.
Here's kind of the difference between what obviously you are and we are, is being in the ring. Staged is what we do best, So
you understand it. You understand it, right?
When I saw those first footages of what was supposed to be Trumpers storming the castle, and they're inside the Capitol building, and they're like going at security who's got shields. I know we throw working punches, and I think if it's the Green Bay guys, the surly dudes, they're not just going to do a little bump, right. First-year art student who's an Antifa kid, and these guys didn't do any clotheslines, try and run through anybody. It was like all for show, just to go up and get bumped back. No punches thrown, no nothing.
Yeah. Having been in a riot, man, I've never seen cops handle people like that.
Yeah. Right. So to me, I just I was sitting there going, man, something smells. So we stayed down on the sidewalk. We stayed down behind the barricades and didn't go anywhere. And I was actually filming it going, I can't believe this. This is crazy. You can hear me while I'm filming, and I haven't posted it yet, so that people understand, like, we weren't there. Nobody was there for violence.
Sure.
Nobody was there for violence. Nobody wanted violence. We wanted to make a symbolic appearance of just saying, hey, man, there's a million of us here. You got to do the right thing, right? You could just feel that. That's what it was. And then after the crowd got hit with all the grenades, the tear gas, the rubber bullets, everything else, they just said, you know what, we're going to get up. We're going up on the building now. They just pushed their way up onto the building is basically, I think, the way they did it. And Jason Burmis, you guys know who Jason Burmis is, probably. He's got a huge podcast. He was up on the stairs, pretty close to the top, and all of a sudden, ramming devices, law enforcement devices for smashing in doors, sledgehammers started coming up. And Jason and everybody on the stairwell, he said, all the Trump people were like, absolutely not. Hand that shit back down. Get that out of here. And they started pushing it back down the stairs. So whoever was down there was trying to sneak it into the crowd and push it up and get it brought up there. So it was
we thought
you guys know what I'm. Everything that we're seeing seems to me obviously very, very well orchestrated. And if we wondered what the Bilderberg meetings were all about, now you know, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at this, Pat, and I'm saying, okay, they may have counted or hoped or prayed. They probably don't pray, though, but they might have hoped that you guys would be violent or would be a section that would be. If not, we'll get some Antifa people in there to kind of mix it up. They get shut down. Then they go maybe plan B. I'm speculating. Plan B, we got to incite these. We got to piss these people off because they're not falling for it yet. That's just my best guess.
But isn't there higher levels too, Stevie, as we watch them walk through the halls and security just stands there with their hands at their sides, or we see the fake security with the baton going up the second floor, like these things were camera angles for a tracking shot.
Well, and the photo ops and everything else that they're doing. It's like, okay, we go back to ISIS when they were big, and we were talking, before Trump was even president, on my podcast, we're going, okay, you guys realize that the Hillary Clinton State Department and Obama administration are funding these guys, right? I mean, we've already spoken to enough guys in law enforcement and federal agencies that are going, yeah, this is the direction, this is the channels the heroin is taking. It's up in the Northeast corridor. That's where some groups from the Middle East and from Russian the stands over in Russia, are running the heroin trade up there for the making money to just like other other administrations have run cocaine to fund proxy armies, right? It was the exact same thing.
They ran.
I'm not saying they were worse. Yeah, Iran Contra, all that stuff. They've all been doing it, right? But the American people, for the most part, don't understand it. But so all of that stuff, people don't understand how played they are, right? So that's the thing that we try to stress on my show. I mean, you go back to the Gulf of Tonkin, when and I'm jumping all over the place for a reason. I'm trying to cover a bunch of stuff, but Jeff and I, my co,
we lay it out the same way of, every 20 years, we're going to run the same spot once again to fool them all.
Right. So Jeffrey Wilson and I, my co-host, we go to a what they call it, fake news forum at the top floor of the library in my hometown, and it's packed. It's packed with people. And you've got, of course, college professors of journalism and some local newscasters and all this other stuff, and they're talking and spewing their stuff and how that there has to be standards in media and all this other And I'm just sitting there in the front row going, "Oh my God, this is incredible to listen to." And then one of their students, a college kid, and I felt so bad for him because he stood up and he turned around to the crowd almost like he was pleading with everybody and he goes, "This is real news. What these men are talking about is real news." And by the time they got to me, I stood up and I go, "Has anybody in this room heard of Gulf of Tonkin? Let me talk about the Gulf of Tonkin with you for a second. Let's talk about weapons of mass destruction for a moment. Let's talk about 9/11. Let's talk about this." And by the time I got done, and then Jeff stood up and lambasted him, just smoked the room. Because he's far more intelligent than I am. By the time we got done, we had tons of people around us walking up to us. And when we got done talking, the guys that were running the fake news forum immediately stopped it. We smoked the whole thing. We torched it. We blew it up. And they left the room. And then everybody was around us talking to us, asking us questions.
Pat, we know you're a big time champion, but how many conspiracy TV shows have you lost? Because if you haven't lost more than 4, you're not beating us yet, man. I'm here to tell you.
If I haven't lost or watched.
No, we've lost. Have you been up for? How Conspiracy Farm has been pitched how many times the Discovery Channel and had the rug pulled up from underneath?
You know what? We've never done it because we are on the third rail so hard, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, Pat, if we see you searching for alien gold in the Nevada desert, we're going to be.
I'm going to say, go get it. I'm going to say, Pat, can you can have
Yeah. So, no, that's the thing is, to me, I've actually got a filmmaker, a guy that's doing a documentary. Luca is his name. He's from Poland. His grandfather's picture is on the wall at Auschwitz, and he's got the exact same mirror number tattoo on his forearm that his grandfather's looked like, right? Just to remind him every day. He's one of the most intelligent guys I've ever met, and really one of the most observant people I've ever met, who understands the human condition, how things can go awry, all of that sort of stuff. So he wants to start doing basically episodes on different conspiracies, and we're going to have to figure out how to get it distributed, because we're going to be riding the third rail on all of them. There's some, I mean, if you think about it, they're finding just on pyramids alone, right? They're finding pyramids everywhere around the world. Mm-hmm. There's pyramids all over the Midwest, but we can't dig them up and we can't excavate them because they say they're Indian burial grounds, right? That's how they stopped it. That's how they protected it. Just that alone. So, but
the convenience of power for them, or I mean, we've covered it all. From the possible Egyptian links in the Grand Canyon with caves and all that line. We do it all. John Teeter as well. We same Conspiracy Farm third rail. We're riding it. Sometimes we have to obviously deal with current events and the way they are against this massive Kabbalist power struggle of secret societies that are just, hell-bent on depopulation and doing these Operation Northwoods Lie Hop, My Hop events to take away more civil liberties. But, there is, even this week, Sal's been connected to the Underground Mom Network, and even it's become pop culture for what we deem the Nancy Browns. Now they call them Karens, but that's become the norm. No more is it Is it the Kardashian lifestyle? This is what we're talking about. Things that they never would have 20 years ago. And we all had to kind of keep it on the kayfabe in the locker room until maybe 10 years ago. I'm not sure what that was like in your realm of UFC to be able to talk openly, or, you know, when you were in your prime, or if you just were kind of a lone wolf, truth seeker at that time.
You know, I think 10 years ago, very few were really paying attention to details, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very few. So it was just kind of go along to get along thing, and just surface thinkers and everything like that. And I actually was in the UFC. It might have been when I was a champion. I think it was. And a good friend of mine, who's a TV producer, was literally hired at the time to be a sound. This is 20 some years ago. He's a sound guy on a local guy that they hired for a UFC crew that came in to film my camp. And he and I got to talking, and this is like around right after 9/11 and stuff, right? And he and I are talking, and I'm like, man, I tell you what, man, you know, at the time, you know, I got sucked in initially to the terrorist stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And sorry, I got a phone call there. I had to hang that up. I'm sucked into that initial, man, rah, patriotism, let's go get these guys sort of stuff. And he goes, dude, like, have you ever heard of Halliburton? Do you know what Dick Cheney really does? And so it was that conversation where I really started digging deeper and started to open my eyes a lot more. But I mean, when I was 6 years old in 1971, 72, when the farm collapse happened, after Nixon took us off the gold standard, my grandma and mom got me up on the farm down in southern Iowa. It was still dark out. I don't know. It was probably 4 and took me downtown Albia, Iowa, and we stood in front of the Farmers National Bank in Albia and waited for it to open, and the line grew and grew and grew. It was a rush on the banks, sure. Because of the farm collapse. And luckily my grandma was in the front of the line, and she got almost $90,000 in cash in 1971 out of that bank.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Did you use what you have, a 38 or 45? What was she using?
Well, my grandfather had died a few years before that in a car accident. My grandfather, obviously. And so not long after that, my grandma auctioned off all the farm equipment, sold the farm, and then moved in with us. We came back up to Bettendorf, Iowa, and she lived with us, you know, for a lot of years. But anyway, I think that's to being observant about what's going on. You know what I mean? About what's going on in the world. I was the little kid sitting on the living room floor watching Walter Cronkite and all that sort of stuff. You know, I'm 8, 10 years old. How many 8, 10-year-old kids are sitting on the living room floor staring at Walter Cronkite, right? So I'm like, okay, Vietnam, what is this? You know, we're in a war. I was curious, you know, and I think I've always been that way.
Yeah, I think all of us have that bug since the beginning. GGP, go ahead, take the floor, man.
No, it's weird. It's not weird, but it's very ironic how something like 9/11 brought a lot of people into the forefront of really looking at things differently, from a different angle or from a different perspective. That was my waking up moment, quote unquote, as well. So then when you realize the track record the government has about lying to people and them doing shady biz, you know, what happened on the 6th doesn't surprise me anymore, and it shouldn't surprise anybody else. And usually what gets me upset is when you have a discussion with somebody, an average Joe or Nancy Brown, and you tell them, you know, your stance on a certain matter, and they look at you like you're crazy, and then you tell them, okay, you're already trying to shut me down, but let me explain something to you, and you present, you know, certain scenarios like 9/11, Gulf of Tonkin, weapons of mass destruction, MK Ultra, all these things,
all that shit.
All these things that have been leaked out by the government themselves and declassified after a 30 or 40 year period, and they look at you and go, "Oh, well, no, maybe not." No, and they just write it off because they don't want to feel stupid or they got played. And unfortunately, that's everyone's motif, everyone's problem. They don't want to feel like they got duped. But that's what the government's been doing. That's why they took out the mob. That's why they're trying to take out unions, because that's the competition. They want to control everything and everybody. And they did control the 6th. The situation at the Capitol Hill was insinuated, was orchestrated by the government for the government, because look what happened now. They just impeached Trump a second time. So they're trying to go. I mean, who knows what happens from now till the 20th or for the next 4 years? Who knows? I mean, we're going to take this day by day. I mean, there's so many theories coming on, onto the forefront, and people saying this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And we were talking about this before you came on, how the whole QAnon movement was nothing but BS, because all these sealed indictments that were supposed to go down, we're still waiting. 4 years later, nothing has happened. So
do you have any inside info from your obviously extensive military contacts from the in law enforcement that you've trained on what actually went down in Pakistan, in Italy, as far as that goes? Is there any word coming in on that?
They're pretty dark on all of that. Although I know, some arrests did happen in Italy. I don't know what happened in Pakistan. If people go back to Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the DNC hiring the Owan brothers to hand out Blackberries to everybody in Congress, and then put data collection sites around Washington, D.C. and suck up all their information and compromise them all. All of that stuff we knew about before Trump was even elected, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about that and CrowdStrike and everything else 4 years before the media even admitted it existed, right? And people were calling us lunatics. And that was all at the same time we were talking about the funding of ISIS and everything else. And I had friends in a Jordanian training facility years previous to that were training. They're like, dude, we know we're training a proxy army right now. They're former special forces guys. They're contractors. They're training these guys. Something's up. Here we go again. It's just this conveyor belt of proxy army building and all that sort of stuff. So,
right.
But that's neither here nor there. But I think, people have to understand that it's not, and I've kind of mislabeled it to a certain point. Like the Trump crowd and say the Black Lives Matter crowd, those aren't the proxy armies. The proxy armies are the infiltrators, the instigators that they insert into those groups. Because I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of people that are part of Black Lives Matter, and they just want, they're just going, look, they're manipulated by the media, right? They're getting manipulated by the media, and they're like, we want answers. We want black kids to quit getting shot by cops, right? I get it. 100%. That's fucking bullshit. And cops make mistakes. There's stressors. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Trump people, I mean, in general, from what I can tell, they're sick of people, the politicians on both sides.
Sure.
Republicans and Democrats. They recognize, at least they're that awake, of course, to recognize the corruption on both sides now. But then you've got the infiltrators, who are the Antifa folks, who are technically the proxy army that are being paid to do a lot of really dirty deeds and drive division in this nation, drive that left-right paradigm. And people just need to wake up to that, recognize these people within their midst and kick them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the expose of spies is essential. Go ahead, Stevie.
I was going to say, well, what happened in the past week or so is kind of, you thought these people were going to turn on both sides. They just double and triple down on what they wanted. And the question I have, Pat, too, is mainly with where you stand right now, because what they're doing right now, they want to do is unperson each and every person that had any attendance within Washington, D.C., not even on the Capitol steps or anything like that. What are you up against? I know about LFA, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but what are you looking at right now with Conspiracy Farm, with any other projects, and the woke and the left and whoever else just coming after each and every person that thinks differently?
Right. Well, look, I knew it was coming. I didn't realize that they'd go that hard in the paint on me this early, right? But it is what it is. And the Conspiracy Farm is alive and well. I'm selling a product since the beginning of I got lucky, guys. Look, I'm just going to tell you guys, Black Oxygen Organics is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. It is a product that Demers, the Walrus Whisperer that was on Rogan, my buddy got some Black Oxygen to him, and he goes, dude, I I can't even explain what's happening to my body. Like I can't even remotely explain. And he didn't know how to explain what the product is and what it does. But I can tell you this, that in my many years as an athlete, as a coach, and as a broadcaster, I've been approached by hundreds and hundreds of companies, and I've never seen anything do what this does. And it's totally organic, plant-based. There's no chemicals, GMO, gluten-free, all that sort of stuff. It's basically a friend of mine from Canada who's an amazing guy. He should get a Nobel Prize for discovering how to do this. He went and was testing. He's an expert in mud, literally mud. And he tested bogs all over Canada for the ones that were the richest in fulvic and humic acid and minerals. And he figured out a CO2 pressurized process and then a freeze drying process, which is patented so nobody else can do it, to concentrate this stuff into a powder. And you put it in water or coffee or whatever, shake it up and drink it twice a day. And you got 45% more oxygen at a cellular level, which is, I've never heard of anything even remotely near that. And it's got 60 times its carrying weight to remove heavy metals, toxins, and even viruses out of the cells, which is backed by research. It's all documented. It's on the website. It resets the bowels. It cleans out, it resets the bacteria, the biome in the gut. It resets the hormonal system. It removes inflammation out of the body. That's why people's blood pressure goes from high blood pressure to normal, because it gets rid of the inflammation out of the arteries. That's why people with asthma and COPD can suddenly breathe again, because there's no inflammation in their respiratory system. That's why people with rheumatoid arthritis go do blood tests, and 2.5 months, 3 months later, in some cases, their rheumatoid arthritis is completely gone. My brother was literally dying. Oh, yeah. See, he just said that. Once you go black oxygen, you never go back. And I'm not shitting you guys. It's amazing stuff. But a friend of mine with rheumatoid arthritis, his doctor said had the worst case of rheumatoid arthritis they'd ever seen. He'd had 5 joint replacements, tried everything possible, natural and pharmaceutical. And he was at the end of the road. He was done living. Let's put it that way. And he called me up and he goes, do you think it'll help me? And I said, man, it reduces inflammation in the body. Give it a shot. So he got on it. 2.5 months later, I think the high range of rheumatoid arthritis markers in the blood is like 122. That's the high range. He was in the 190s. And he went back after 2.5 months, got a blood test. Rheumatoid arthritis no longer exists in his blood.
Wow.
This is the kind of, and the endurance that it gives athletes.
I would say that now I can pull 20 minutes, GGP. No blowing. I'm not going to be blown up after 12.
Dude, I'm telling you, this stuff is incredible, man. This stuff is, and that's why I started selling it, because I was on a product during my fight career that saved me, because I have a damaged respiratory system from black mold growing up as a kid. I always had trouble breathing. And a product that added 20% more oxygen made me a world champ. I could do stuff. I was running 16.5 minute 5Ks. I was dunking a basketball. I was benching 370 and I fought at 170. It totally changed my life and made me a world champ. And I knew that only 20% more oxygen and this at 45, it's a done deal. It's a game over. It's the greatest discovery ever.
So it's basically the adrenochrome for good, wholehearted people.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But people don't understand. The thing is most people don't understand that you can't go and buy minerals off a shelf, mineral vitamin supplements off a shelf in pill form generally, that are organic. They're inorganic sources, so you're not even going to absorb the shit. It's not even worth putting in your body, right? This stuff it matches your molecular structure of your body. It matches the hormonal system of your body. It matches everything about the human body. So you absorb it all because it's basically plant material, right? So that's the big difference, is why it works so well. What's that?
What's it called again? Because I want to get it for my father-in-law, who's a Vietnam vet, and he can't. I'll
give you my site. You got to have the brand partner site. It's blackOxygenOrganics.com/Pat Miletich.
Okay.
And Miletich is Miletich.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I just do it twice a day, a half measuring teaspoon. It's got to be a half measuring teaspoon, be very precise. Put it in your coffee in the morning, one of those, and then a little bit after lunch. And you guys tell me in 10 days after you're doing workouts and stuff if you don't feel different.
Yeah, I mean, we've been going hard. That's a big thing we want for our audience too. Stevie has his own whole resistance band workout system and is an influencer as well.
Oh yeah.
For some
See,
other
you guys could do well. You know, and after I want you guys, you know, you're not going to buy a car unless you test drive it, right?
Sure.
So I want you guys to test it out and then contact me, tell me what you think. And then if you guys want to be brand partners and we'll get you running, and I'm my goal at the end of 3 years of selling it is $350K a month. So,
well, I mean, if not, you can always show up on somebody's door and give them the hard sell. They're going to buy everything you got with you, Pat.
but I just know how. So you notice, I can't sell anything that doesn't work, right? I just can't. But I know this works so well that I could walk up to Donald Trump and go, "Hey, Trump, you need this shit. You absolutely need it." And I could hit him with a 5-minute bullet point, and he'd go, "Yeah, you're right. I do need it," because I know he does.
He needs some more oxygen. I'm sure he's suffering for it right now. We were talking right before you came on too, you know, and I was looking for social media as we get deplatformed. We want to take brands like yours that you're, you know, to help with, because Conspiracy Farm is your pet project, and we all need to raise each other up right now.
Yeah.
In this time, because we saw Parler kicked off, you know, and then shut down, and then Amazon, you know, coming over Big Brother 1984 style, obviously Twitter bans and everything that's going on now, as we are on the kind of the open range of the digital, you know, front, where we have to switch to band video or bit shoot or whatever is going to rise up here.
You guys should get on Rockfin, man.
Say again, what is it, please?
Rockfin, ROKFIN.
Okay.
That's where we moved to.
Okay.
And get on Rockfin, and they pay digital currency. So you do a regular show, but then you do special stuff, special clips, features, all that sort of stuff, and people pay for that, and you get paid in digital currency.
Excellent, man, because we're always going to have to be shifting as Big Brother tries to come into the ghettos that they create after he fucks up everything, and then they'll
We got to build a parallel. We have to build a parallel universe, basically.
I agree. That's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Sally, what are you feeling over there, man?
Well, so Pat Miletich says, "Oh, let's get another universe." You guys are like, "Cool, fine," but the rest of the fucking year, you guys are like, "Oh, CERN, what are you guys doing over there? Go fuck yourselves now." How about that?
Yeah, if you don't know, Sal is a super spy for CERN. So, I mean, everything that's said here today, we'll get back to CERN and then taken into the past or future.
But Pat Miletich says, "Let's create a new universe." You guys are like, "Yeah, Pat, of course we've been all up and one."
Well, CERN never presented an alternative to PayPal, though. Or that's what Pat wants.
That's as far as you know.
Right. Awesome, man.
Did you get to get close to Mantar, the bull guy there that was obviously the plant photo op for everybody?
I never saw him. I don't know I don't know where he came
He had
from.
his own
I don't know.
dressing room. That's why.
The green room at the Capitol, right?
Yeah, man.
Jesus Christ.
What do you think about the supposed black ops, or even where we are in the 4D chess game, where they went and supposedly took Nancy Pelosi's laptop? We've already got.
I don't buy into it, dude. I'm just not buying into it.
What about Ghislaine Maxwell? I mean, we talked about Epstein possibly being alive, released the Kraken, and all that shit came out last week. Are they under witness protection program? And if not, why aren't they squeezing her here at the last end of days to get a little something out of there?
I've almost gotten to the point where, early on I was like, hey, Q might be right. Then I started going, well, nah, all this stuff, nah, it doesn't make sense. And I waffle back and forth on Trump, white hat, nah, just playing a part, white hat, just playing a part. And, when I talk to my buddy in the intelligence industry who owns a company, technology company with 2 former master chiefs of intel of the United States, and he sends me back a message after I go, all right, dude, are we looking at Trump invoking the Insurrection Act, or are we getting played? And about 10 minutes went by, and he came back with played. He goes, the riots, the race riots after the George Floyd death were masterful. And he's just like, he goes, I've never felt like this before. I've never and he's been in a lot of wars. He ran guerrilla teams against other guerrilla teams that were being run by other CIA guys down in South America, destabilizing governments. That guy's seen it all.
Right.
And he's like, I've just never felt like this before, man. This is some scary shit. Like, this is some scary shit.
And it's normalized by shows like Homeland. So the Nancy Browns through Operation Mockingbird can feel, oh, I've seen it because Claire Danes from My So-Called Life presented it to me, and I can digest it now a little bit.
Okay.
easier.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing stuff for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It really is.
We, like you said, I didn't think they'd come at us this quick. We've been predicting it all, but to see the shutdowns in First Amendment across the board, from illusion of choice of these media companies, 5 media conglomerates that own all of media, that the boardrooms that dictate, but they're segmented into these channels. People don't even know about the ownership of media. So really, it's all an illusion right there. Obviously, they want us to gather, and then freedom of speech, digital or even in your own family's house, is pretty much banned at this point too, for them to stooge on it. So, Second Amendment is following right after that. Where are we going?
There's going to be, and that's one thing I'll say before I got to go, is we've talked about it a lot coming up here pretty soon. When they put out the poster of armed marches at state capitals and all this stuff, that wasn't made by right-wing people. You can see communists all over those posters, right? And so for everybody out there listening to this, do not go to your state capitol with a gun. Do not do it, because they're going to stage mass shootings and blame white supremacy and extremist groups. And then next thing you know, the military is out hunting for guns. Yeah. So just don't do it. Don't bite into it. Don't give them, I just say, don't act until you can see the white of their eyes, right? The old saying.
And then what do you hit them with? The ankle pick and the high, the high gimmick, or what? What are you going for after?
I actually, my left hook's gotten really good lately as I've gotten old. So that's kind of a jaw remover. But no, I actually would prefer to just disappear so they never find me.
Right on, man. Oh, I'll hope
a Faraday bag for my phone, and I'm out.
Well, Sal's going to make sure we're all chipped. That's part of the big CERN plan. Again, you guys, we'll put out the link in the description of the podcast for Black Oxygen, the affiliate site for Pat Miletich. Conspiracy Farm. Where can they find you, Pat, there for Conspiracy Farm?
They can go to Rockfin, to that podcast channel, and then also theconspiracyfarm.com.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you for making time for us and being there in the front lines, man, and really facing down censorship, because if there's a guy, somebody might come at you from afar digitally, no one's going to run up on you and tell you to shut the fuck up. So I think having you there, man, is a great patriot stance for all of us, and the Conspiracy Horsemen are definitely got your back. If you need us, just reach out, man.
I appreciate that, gentlemen. You guys take care, man, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Be good.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.
There he is, Hall of Fame UFC legend, you guys. Pat Miletich. Thanks again to, GGP, Blake Troop hooking that one up. But we'll see if he can go over as strong as Pat can. I don't know. I know.
Who's going to go over strong? Blake? Fuck out of here. You're gonna lick his left nut while Big Ray licks his right nut? Come on, dude. I think Ray wants them both in his mouth.
Yeah, man. And also guest last minute. And we you GGP, you booked a great guest for us next week as well. You want to billboard her a little bit?
No.
Waterboarder?
No, I'm kidding. No, a friend of mine. Her name is what the hell's her name? Jen. I forget.
It's a good friend of mine.
She's a friend of mine, but I don't know her last name. Elsing or
EYL.
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, James Ellsworth's coming on.
But anyway, she's a model. She's an actress. She does podcasting. Her name is Jen Elsie Feldy, right? But anyway, you'll see her next week. Yeah, but she's
maybe not if she's listening to this pitch.
Listen. All I know her as Jen. I didn't know her last name. But regardless of all that, she's a smart chick who knows something about a thing or two. And she has her hands in a lot of cookie jars with production, media, podcasting, acting, modeling. But she's not. You look at her, you're like, she's probably some dumb broad. Not at all. complete 180. She knows her thing or two, like I said, about a thing or two. And
Smart
we've
broad.
had she's a very smart broad, and we've had discussions about certain things. And she hits me up. She goes, "Hey, what do you think about this? You think this is gonna happen or this is gonna go down more of the queue?" And we talked about it, and we're like, nope. So you'll get. First of all, she's good to look at. Second of all, she's nice to listen to. She has a nice voice, and she knows her stuff. So you're getting a full package. So make sure you guys are all on board next week to the Conspiracy Horsemen, so you guys can get it.
Yeah, man, I look forward to it. I know she does a little of the magic studies and along those lines, so I think Sal, you'll definitely have.
Oh yeah, definitely. Dude, I found out about her. She told me last week about psychic stuff and magic and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I saw her billboarding too. So I'm kind of excited to maybe get away from whatever, or maybe she's got a vision of the future. I'm down for. Man, what else did we have in the chat, you guys? As it was trickling down heavy in Horseman chat. Obviously, a great guest for us tonight, and we talked about Amazon and what's going on. Is it going to be any bounce back on Twitter? I'm sure they're not going to let what's his nuts.
Hold on a second. I want to interrupt you. I got to text my wife. What's her name? Real quick.
Oh, yeah. Russo.
Wow.
You know, as they come back online, are they going to loosen the restrictions, or are they really going to crack down further and make these lists? I mean, who was it? GGP said, I didn't even sign up for it, Parlor, yet, because I think that's just a way for the left to come in on a dummy piece to have a list of people to go after.
Right, that's what I said.
I think it was you. No, me, Spider. I said that.
No, Spider. Dance the drink over here, Spider.
Yeah, man. What are you guys seeing next, censorship wise? Because Apple's not going to recant.
Yeah, well,
Oh, they're going to double down on everything, bro. They're going to double down on everything, and it's going to be to the point where people are going to have people are going to get so upset, and it's just going to incite more division and more of a civil war.
Well, it's problem, reaction, solution. That's what we didn't say when Pat was here, but we're saying it without saying those words, right?
Exactly. Look, man, that's what they want. They want us divided because a house divided can't stand, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have people on both sides, and unfortunately, there's not going to be no common ground, and that's what they want. Well, they don't want, because the majority of the people are in the common ground. It's that small, minute group on the far right and on the far left that are making the most noise right now, and people are actually thinking that's real life because perception is reality. But in actuality, the majority of the people, they just want what's right for the country. They want to go back to work. They want to take off their masks. They want to get their lives going. They want to pay their bills. They want to take care of their families. They want their kids in school, and that's all they want.
Sal, you want to see a helicopter?
Yeah,
helicopters. Sal, you want to see helicopters?
I'll show you helicopters. So okay, so all these things what GGP was saying, and I didn't want to interrupt him because he has a point. He has 100%. He's making 100% sense, and the fact that now the division is getting worse because not only since Wednesday, then this somehow has turned into a racial issue.
Well, isn't everything hijacked?
Well, but again, I was a good friend of mine. Someone who I thought I've always been a good friend to, and always been supportive of.
Remember their name, or are they just?
I do remember their name, it's Rosedale Peeps. It's Rosedale Peeps too, and that's the funny part. They came out, and I remember them posting this about how this was a racial issue and how white privilege was involved. And I said, what are you even talking about? And I kind of blew it off for a bit, and that was my white privilege kicking in. And I said, I don't understand. And then when that fucking stuttering prick Biden steps in and said, if black people were involved, there would have been shootings, there would have been beatings and deaths. And I'm like, so now he's jumping on, but the guy who wants to heal America. This is the guy who wanted to heal the world.
Well, he's going to heal you with a $2,000 payday first day in office.
Well, but that's the thing. Trump was such an awful, awful man. He wants division. He's not helping the country. He's not doing anything for us. All he wants to do is divide us. And the first thing out of your mouth is division.
Well,
on a
I think
situation.
let's get the reality check in of people who are bitching and are still going to get the money. Because if they want to do cancel culture on us running down some parlor shit to be like them, and them, if you are hot about grabbing by the pussy still, because that's really what incited this is all from that originally. If you're hot about grabbing by the pussy, but you twerked to wet ass pussy, you're out of here. You're out. You're fine. There's no fucking quarter in that.
Hold on. Well, let's look at it the double standard from Biden's point of view, right? He wants to heal this country, saying how Trump divided this nation. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Obama started all this division with the cops and all and everything like that. And on top of that, I mean, Trump doesn't help it. He didn't help the situation by opening his mouth and speaking the way he's speaking. He's very outdated. He's like a dinosaur. If he doesn't adapt with the times, he gets left back. And that's exactly what happened. That's why we're in the predicament where we are now. For every one good deed that he does, he opens his mouth and he has to take 2 or 3 steps back. You know what I'm saying? He gets pushed back, especially when the media is gunning for him. But he doesn't realize that he needs to shut up and just play the game and do it to his favor. No, his ego has to get him. He has to be there. And I agree. I kind of agree with Don Lemon calling him the biggest snowflake because he kind of is. You know what I'm saying? Because he has an ego and he has to be the loudest guy in the room and he has to be the best and the greatest and the biggest ratings and this, that, and the other. Whatever. It's his insecurity. But then Biden comes out and says, you know what? This relief bill that we're going to have for everybody, it's going to go to the businesses of Black people and women first.
Right.
Really? Not about all these other people who need it, no matter what race, creed, or whatever they're from. If they're Hispanic.
Isn't that profiling?
It is. It's racist.
Well, those were also the people that when he was out on the trail, he was there to see down in the middle America, lower America. He was the working man. He was there for everybody.
And then on top of that, you're saying that Trump incited this thing on the 6th. Right. What about Kamala Harris? What about Maxine Waters? What about all these people talking this summer, inciting violence? If you see someone from Trump's cabinet, go get up in their face.
Mick Foley tweeting Vince McMahon to kick Trump out of the WWE Hall of Fame. This is what we're worrying about while Dewey goes and works for the Obamas. Yeah. I mean, dude, this shit.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, we talk about how they appear to be stupid. They appear to be idiots and morons. I don't believe they're stupid at this point. This double think, this double speak, and now double tweet, as Twitter goes and all this stuff, it's all designed. It is all truly designed. I'm just saying that whole thing with the BLM and how they treated that and how they're treating, the Capitol thing is truly something. The thing I fear the most, because right now it's very much a rah-rah thing on mainstream media. Go find these people, identify them, find out where they work, go after them. They need to lose their job. Talking about these, it could be all the 75 million people that voted for Trump. We're looking at a level of Nazi Germany type, Gestapo type shit. Go get them. And Nancy Brown's now weaponized, and all these people watching CNN and now even Fox News. Yeah. Not hardly anybody gets like OAN or Newsmax. Now every single piece of mainstream media, the one that appears to be far right on Trump's side, is now burying him. So what do you think Nancy Brown?
The article we shared where we've said Trump's going to start his own media company, right, Stevie? But then they shared that article. I saw this blogger, and it was a pretty well written thing because it was biased on some stance, but not super hard. But it did count down where Trump's enemies are and where they will collude together to keep him out of the mass media game. Who is the one that is going to help Trump get the foot in the door of these 5 major media conglomerates, because they've iced out every other way to do it. There was only really one way in that was outlined, and it was pretty meticulous. I don't know if you guys read through all of that or not, but that really interested me of like, he made an enemy here at Sony, and Comcast has got him locked out. Time Warner is definitely not. Disney, no way. And Netflix and them are obviously Chinese bought and paid for. And now Amazon has shown their true colors as well. So all the major media conglomerates, and Trump's got money. He doesn't have to be the number 6 startup money. I mean, he might try and do a Glenn Beck, The Blaze, but it's going to be more lucrative for him to patch it up with a Fox News and just have a one Trump show a week where he pulls 2 hours.
Well, I think every conservative show or something like the Horsemen or Conspiracy Farm, Gaia, these other things that he can pull in potentially 75 million people watching his network. That's a lot. Even if he gets 1/10 of that at 7.5.
They projected 70 to 80 million if he did a show. I think you'd get 100 million.
I'm saying if he has a whole network for $5 a month, people would support that and they would give up all their cable, go a la carte on Sling or whatever. I have a conspiracy within the conspiracy. I think I know the moment that the government said, fuck this guy. We got to take him down. We got to box him out. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Pat mentioned the ISIS thing, that Obama had funded them.
Mm-hmm.
Trump literally said that at a press conference after he was elected with the CIA director off to the side. I think right there it was like, fuck this guy. We got to, if we can't kill him, we're going to make him as inept as possible, and we're going to try to impeach him, take everything away in the next 4 years. I really believe that was the moment that he wouldn't play ball with the intelligence agencies, the slush funds, the funding of terrorism, all that stuff. They said, we're done with that. Because think about ISIS after Trump defunded them. You haven't heard anything about them. So just my theory on that.
He stole their monkey bars.
The armies, these proxy, they're still out there doing chin-ups.
Well, Justin said, why didn't no one try to assassinate him? Because he would have been a martyr.
Well, how about the Iran hit that they're claiming on Trump is coming, and now they want to impeach him so he doesn't have Secret Service. They want to keep him naked, right? And he's got to get his own. So then they can put the hit on him. There's your proxy war with Iran, with whatever freedom fighter group that Pat's Blackwater buddies, who still have to rebrand to Craft Services or whatever they rebranded to now. They got to keep those guys on some super CIA slush fund so they can keep themselves in arm's reach away to make sure these mujahideen
and then
version 0.2 fucking can attack.
You know who's gonna go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, then after he gets assassinated, they take him out, and then whoever stands up and Biden says, well, or whoever else says, well, they can't do that, even if it's him. They can't do that to our country, and now we get to unify again.
Sure, war will bring them together. Shocker. Right. And where's Cheney in all of this with Halbert? This motherfucker's still alive as the fucking emperor GGP, sitting up someplace high on the throne.
Cheney's swimming in his freaking vault like Scrooge McDuck right now. But you know who's going to give Trump his platform to become a media conglomerate now?
Elon Musk.
Nope. Israel.
You think so? You think they'll back him?
Yeah, man. They I mean, look, all the stuff he did for Israel.
I think that's just some old fucking hat where it's got to go down like that. Every president kind of agrees to it. But, I mean, by this summer, based on what we also saw, and now here's the fanciful side of the Horsemen that we love, 180 days since they signed that bill, that UFO disclosure. So everywhere we build to could be complete bullshit by Independence Day.
Listen, you know what's going to happen? They're going to disclose everything from the UFO stuff, and we're going to find out that Hitler went to Argentina, then to Panama, then to Mexico, got a tan, and that's about it. And everything's going to be all blacked out, just like the JFK papers.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
The fact that what about the Black Vault that just came down, the CIA documents?
Right.
200-something pages. And another thing, the 284-page the FBI just leaked about Pelosi's gangster father in Maryland and her brother raping 11-year-old girls and children, the 13 and 14-year-old kids. But her name's redacted from everything.
Well, let's go for it. Next 72 hours going to Sunday. What do we see? What do we see short term for next moves?
Here's my prediction.
I wanted to say helicopters. Sal, I'll take it back to you.
Speaking of helicopters, and I apologize for not picking up on it earlier.
All right.
The Mom Network in Jersey they were working overtime. White helicopters, unmarked. White squad cars, unmarked. We're all driving around. There was guys in military uniforms, and when they called the cops, saying, "There's these guys, helicopters," and I sent you guys the pic of it.
Look, not Black Hawk, so that's a delivery helicopter of bigger payload, troops, whatever it is, whatever you want to. That's not your, attack mode.
They called the locals called cops and they said, "Hey, there's helicopters and guys in uniforms running around here. What's going on?"
Mhm.
Cops went, "It's training."
We got the video too the other day where those were Blackhawks. 8 of them coming columns right down over citizens on the highway along those lines.
Now,
so here we are getting ready for some martial advance.
Well, now here's the thing too. This is in Belvedere, New Jersey. It's not a military hub of any sort. So I don't know. Unless there's something I'm overlooking. I really don't understand the military significance of training in Belvedere, New Jersey. So
maybe they want to go to Wawa.
Yeah,
there's tons of those. You don't have to go to Belvedere. You can get off the fucking exit and get them.
Maybe they were marked for the show and they're just marking out for the name.
Wanted to. Oh, friggin'
Mr. Belvedere.
What else do we have in the chat, gentlemen? Anything is going down? Or well, actually, let's keep it going. So, what do you see? 72 hours, Stevie. Next steps. These military ops on Pakistan and Italy have my flag raised over here of like I'm keeping an eye there to that way.
The same efficient use of our tax money that the impeachment over the past few days did. By the way, you know what they're concentrating on out of anything for this impeachment? Like the proudest moment of this whole thing, that a black woman had prepared the document for Pelosi to sign.
Yeah,
that's what all the politicians are concentrating on.
They treat that like when they taught Coco sign language.
Yeah, she didn't have a bird on her shoulder.
That's how they look at it, dude. Like they look at this ape. We taught how to fucking write a fucking memo. Oh, good.
She did the
Roseanne Barr lawyer just
Pelosi did the wrestling move. She did the exact same thing Trump did, signing the thing and showing it to all sides. The big meme from the beginning. That was the last fuck you to him. Well, not the last. I think censure and trying to make sure he never runs again. There's going to be a resolution specially made to never, ever. It's a big club and you ain't in it. And nobody from this point on is ever going to get in it again. I think they're going to pass another resolution at like 12:10 midnight or 1 a.m. And it's going to be in the COVID bill. I bet you any amount of money.
Why? Well, yeah, I bet you too. It's going to be in 5,500 pages buried that nobody reads.
Everybody gets their $2,000 check, but then that thing snuck in to keep Trump from running again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Why is it always that remember when Biden was like, and a black woman put this together? That's what we're proud of. You know what I mean? To like always play and hijack that race card. Why aren't black leaders saying stop using us for this? Like, if it's about unity and they want to do that, why do they always make like them look inferior? Like they've risen up to be able to do something. You know what I mean? Like that is just.
I'll tell you why. Because they're really in the closet racists and they're pandering to make themselves look like they're actually caring about a progressive movement, which in actuality they're not. And like you said, why don't leaders step up and say, "Hey, enough is enough. Yeah. Shut your mouth." I'll tell you why. Because when they did and they were backing Trump, all of a sudden, all these black leaders got labeled as fringe people and people who are crazy and religious, zealous nuts. And they don't want that bad press. But you know what may happen before Trump leaves office? He's going to pardon everybody. Everybody get back at everybody.
They'll be able to, you know what I mean?
Why not? He's the president.
7 days and they're going to pin him. I think that they'll say that pardon isn't worth the paper it's printed on, and like they'll go against their own claims of freedom. You know what I mean? Of respecting the office. They'll rewrite the rules and the double standard, dude, and they'll hide behind black movements, white guilt, and all this other shit to push it forward. Because if Tim Cook is coming out with that today, that's what they're gonna, do to push the MO. And I even saw that female-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses are going to give priority bailout.
I just said that 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm saying
right in the chat. Hey, by the way, I wanted to say this too. I want to see if that $90 million out of the 100 goes to salaries, like Biden's cancer charity. How much that's going to be salaries?
Or the BLM donation. And what were the top 5 places? It all went to Biden, Hillary Clinton, and the number 5 guy was Obama. Double A with the big super sticker. Appreciate you, brother. Huge show tonight for us with obviously Pat Miletich on the front lines. You know, we would have been happy to have anybody that was there at the Capitol kind of give a firsthand account, but to be able to be hooked up with such a high-level guest, man, that was an awesome get for us last minute tonight. So, yeah.
Well, now I want to bring something up. You guys were talking earlier about OAN. Somebody, one of the game guys that I know, he has his own system and the whole bit, and he was actually hit with cancel culture because somebody said he's a QAnon follower and an OAN subscriber, and they listed that on his, like, this guy's a Trumper, an OAN subscriber, and a QAnon supporter. And I spoke to him, and he said, "Who the fuck is QAnon?" He's like, "I have no idea who QAnon is."
That JFK Jr.? I don't know.
But that's the problem. That's the thing. These things, all these things are now, they are your social badge that you're going to get crucified for.
It's just like the social credit system, dude, like China had.
Right. So now you're going to get fucking burnt for this.
If you have conservative beliefs, you're done.
Well, it's not that. You don't even have to have them. What Sal's saying is these are trigger words or trigger accusations. There you go. That's what he should do.
That would get him over huge.
What I'm saying is, like Sal just said, they're throwing words out, not even known, but they know guilty until you deny it, but you're only denying it because that makes you look guilty. You're never going to be able to vindicate yourself.
And that's the thing. They turn around and then they block him on the social media. So now he can't even respond. So now you've just been labeled as this fucking crazy heretic. So it's all of a sudden now you're a pariah. So I'm just all this stuff that's coming down, and now it's whose news you watch. It used to be Fox, but now they're not saying Fox anymore. Now it's OAN. OAN's the new target. Fox is okay now. Fox is okay with everybody.
Well, they were a target because that college football coach wore a T-shirt. Remember that about a year ago, and he had to apologize to all the players and just for because he was on a fishing trip. Same thing with Newsmax will be next, or anything else or our show could be that. I mean, Ben's channel gets double verification warnings when you go to the video on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
this will be demonetized like last week's show was too. And I even named last week's show Watt Tyler. So, like, a guy who had a rebellion in 1381, on review. The only thing I can think of is everything has to get checked to be able to be monetized, and half my stuff is limited ads. That some cocksucking soy boy at fucking YouTube has to sit through all this conversation and take a big dose of truth before he goes demonetized. He probably makes it 3 or 4 minutes in. But
what I'm worried about Greg Moser. Greg Moser posted a pic with him and Kofi. When he tattooed Kofi, Kofi had a Punisher shirt on. Does that mean he was?
Yeah. How do you
racist?
like that? Punisher's now going to be taken out? Like, no, that's been hijacked by, really a disenfranchised warrior, American patriot story of taking out corrupt people, and that's bad at this point.
That's what I mean. So it's it's all a matter. And then I've even had my friends of mine go, it's not going to affect me one way or another. I said, probably not. It really won't. But
Pelosi speaking to the National Guard.
Oh, good.
I wish one of them just took a shot at her right now.
Ray Liotta from No Escape just walk up during the fucking march and just put a bullet right in her face.
This definitely isn't getting
Allegedly.
It was in the movie. Ray Liotta shot his commanding officer. They were doing the march. And Ray Liotta walked right out of line, just put it up to his head, and bang, just ended.
Which movie was this?
No Escape, when they sent him to that island.
Oh, okay.
With Matt Dillon.
I
And,
don't remember the hat. I don't remember No Escape. Sorry about that, Sale.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't remember the switch.
Oh my God, it's like a switch, Steve. It's like a switch.
Oh, man. GGP, next 72 hours, quick predictions. Take us home.
Pain. No, seriously. More division. More.
It's never good at division.
What do you mean never been a division?
I'm not Asian.
That's not good at division.
I get it.
There
Got
we
it.
go.
Got it.
I'll
Rops
slow
the
him down.
cross.
I'll slow him down. I'll slow him down a little bit.
So, like I said, more division among the masses. There will be more people getting banned on Twitter. More people getting castrated for having conservative point of view values or morals in their life. More elimination of the First Amendment. To the point where it's gonna be like a powder keg, and then one straw is gonna break that camel's back, and then all shit's gonna break loose. Whether it's the alleged 50
You think in the next 72 hours, as we head to the 17th, you think that you see it really getting knuckled up and bloody like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we called this months ago. I see it happening.
Sure, and I agree with you. If you're going 1774. When they were in the streets in Boston and it wasn't some Boston Tea Party, you can look at it. It's the kid who was a wig maker's apprentice, who was one of the first Antifa that stood up against him, problem, reaction, solution, and they gunned him down on the street, and then they just started gunning down the gangs that were in there in Boston. I don't think I think with Proud Boys and them trying to pin stuff on them, and, there's going to be some retaliation there that they're going to do or let them do, so they can get it on camera and then have their way with it. It could get ugly. There's no doubt about that, man. I think the bigger thing is going to be what's going on with Italy. Is that going to play out at all, really? Because if they've got the data, it's got to get out there in the next 2 to 3 days. Otherwise, it's going to be useless.
It's already useless, dude. Everything that has any remote chance of showing that the election was rigged will be useless, because they will not have a platform to present it on that will be sufficient enough to have any change or any difference. Who knows what happens on the 20th at the inaugurations? Hopefully it's peaceful, nobody gets hurt, but I don't know, bro. I'm telling you, this is scary.
15,000 troops, Blake troops headed to DC for the 20th, man. And it's going to take that many to beat my man GGP. I'm going to be on the
wait.
So I can.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
What happens? So now they're going down on the 20th, but then that reparations march is the 21st, isn't it?
I mean, it's going to be a cold day in January.
What reparations march?
It's going to be a big blizzard.
I sent it to the group. I was I don't remember where it was, but I copied and I went to the site. Yeah, there's a reparations march on the 21st because African Americans are owed money for all the where
are we going to get all these mules from at the last minute?
Yeah, and all the acres. I don't know. Maybe they're going to go live with Tyrus out in Montana.
Here's my question: This is the poem again. When this happens after January 20th, the Democrats have the presidency, they have the House, they have the Senate. There's more governors than ever that are Democratic. Who's the bad guy? These people, the mainstream media, the ratings are going to tank, because who do they have as the boogeyman? Who is the heel from this point on? You just can't keep saying, oh, by the way, you're going to name a name every day of the 75 million people that voted for Trump.
Who's going to be their Bruce? Who's going to be their Hamin to pin it on? Who's going to be their Bischoff?
Well, this is what I'm saying now. So if the 21st comes and there's a march and anything happens, do they still get to blame it on Trump and anything that goes on the 20th?
Who knows?
The best thing that could have happened for any of them is if they let Trump get reelected, because they had the heel they needed, and they could not. Now they got to actually do some shit, at least if people hold them to it. You have no Republican Senate to hold you back from doing what you've been wanting to do for 47, 50 years, 20 years, whatever. They're on your side. They just impeached Trump. They helped you impeach Trump. So this isn't a conspiracy, but right now it's like you should really think they have control of everything. So who is going to be the one that they can bitch about that stopped? It's like me when I was in WWE. Oh, we were going to put you on the pay-per-view, but you did this. You forgot to say hello to this person, or you forgot to go to catering first, or you didn't check in at the right time. You see what I mean? But now they have no excuse to say, well, we would have done it, but Trump's an asshole. We would have done it, but the Senate the Republicans control the Senate. Unless they fully turn on Biden and now Harris, the black woman, because he's a white guy and a sexist, and basically now all the Trisha Clark stuff is basically true. They 25th Amendment him, and now you got her. I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I'm playing. And then maybe
good. I think that's not out of the realm of even close. I mean, that's like a 5% chance. That's a 25% chance.
But I said too that she's an anchor baby. So Pelosi could step in and be the president because she's not really legally allowed to be the president.
I cannot wait until they ban that word.
What's
anchor
that?
baby?
Well, Pelosi?
Yeah, that would be great.
Well,
so eventually we're going to get pulled for saying the word
baby.
anchor baby.
I said anchor baby, like I'm for man.
Oh.
Sal's going to be doing a watch along twitch.tv/horror junkyard, watching the Pelosi 60-minute special after this with Chuck, you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to be masturbating furiously.
He's going to be giving out his cell phone number, going to be showing some things from his underwear drawer, and just giving all of his passwords to all his emails on the Proton server.
But at least because I have her laptop.
At least you're not driving a Fit. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather drive a Go-Kart than a freaking Fit. Come on.
CRV is
we'll be having a Fit in the morning if Stevie Richards is joining me for the Ultra Kayfabe Declassified taping of the Friday Locker Room on Thursday. As he returns to sit through the headlines, or I can get Strangler Steve. He's up to no good as well, man. Whatever
we both go on.
If you want to, man, I'll invite both. Absolutely. These are the Steves I know. So 8:30 in the morning, we'll be back here on YouTube, Ben Hamin channel, Hamin Media Group channel, with all the bullshit wrestling headlines to make you escape this madness. GGP, anything else to plug NFO-wise? What's going down? I know we billboarded at the top. Anything else you got this week, buddy?
No. I mean, just a lot of news and speculations coming out about upcoming events with Star Wars and all these Disney Plus shows and whatever the case may be. We're looking to continue bringing on some good guests. Enjoy the show tomorrow. It was very informative. My opinion, a good show. We just talked a lot of shop. It was good. And that's it, man. I mean, there's no fucking wrestling going on. There's really nothing much going on. I'm doing the jobs to the new puppy and to the kids, all 37 of them. So, I'm the Barry Horowitz of my household. So
right on, man. Well, make sure you call that broad and she knows her stuff, because I'm not going to have no broads who don't know their stuff on here, especially their own names. But y'all infidels.
Dick, really? You had to get your shit in?
The 5-time champ, Hall of Famer Pat Miletich, Conspiracy Farm, Black Oxygen. If you guys are interested in joining all of the health stuff we got going on to make sure they don't beat us, let's not beat ourselves unless we really need to. But StevieRichardsFitness.com, you guys join the revolution for the new year. We're all working hard together, and definitely if we got Pat Miletich as a coach, we're going over strong Matt Hughes and GSP style. But it's not GSP, it's TCH, the Conspiracy Horsemen, here at hackerhamin.podbean.com, infidels. YOLO.